Hello, I wonder how many of you have heard of Tristan and Andrew Tate. Now, in my Facebook feed, a video popped up, and it was Tristan and Andrew Tate making some points about atheists. I decided to watch the video. It lasts about 9 minutes. You're going to see it in a moment, and a lot of you will probably say, you know, why are you even listening to these guys? And my answer to that would be that they're specifically talking about atheism and their own beliefs, and regardless of where views about atheism are coming from, I'm interested. You know, whether it's right at the top level, you know, with the sort of elite philosophers and everything, or right down at the bottom level, I don't care. I'm interested in people's views on atheism, the existence of God, etc. And I appreciate that Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate are very controversial figures and probably not that well liked in certain circles. Nevertheless, I made notes on their video, and I'm going to show you the video and watch it. If you want, you can jump straight to my commentary at the end, which is probably going to last 10 minutes. So anyway, here we go, and I'll be back after the talk by these two.
I like truth. I like living in the realm of truth. And the closer you are to the realm of truth, the closer you find yourself to God, by the way. Whenever you see somebody who says, I'm an atheist, what they're saying is they don't live near truth. They live in delusions and lies, MSM garbage.
You know, I'm going to talk about atheism for a minute or two, because I used to be an atheist, sadly. I'm quite ashamed to admit that.
I think I have a video of you back when you were an atheist.
No, don't play that video. I know what video you're going to play. So anyway, when I was an atheist, I thought I was Mr. Smart, 22 years of age, no money. Thought I was a genius. No money, sleeping on a mattress on the floor, tell people God's not real. Yeah, I was such a know-it-all. So yeah, there I was, the genius, sleeping on a mattress on the floor with no money, couldn't pay my electricity bill. Yeah, I thought God wasn't real. I was told by Christians and Muslims alike that atheism is a cult of Satan. And I thought I was clever. Like I was like, it can't be a cult of Satan because atheists don't believe in Satan, blah, blah, blah. Like a retard. But now, if there is just one thing that proves that these people were right all along and atheism is a cult of Satan, it is how quickly atheists are happy to adopt an anti-scientific worldview if it furthers the work of Satan himself.
Tell me more.
So, no, let me tell you more. I remember being an atheist. Couldn't pay my bills, young broke Tristan thinking he's so smart. No, if I can't believe it or see it, it has to be scientifically verified. That's their whole worldview. I need to be able to see X, Y, and Z categorically in front of me, scientific proof. I need this or I don't believe in it, right? There's a man who calls himself the Amazing Atheist. He had a big YouTube channel back in the day.
Whoa. How are you an amazing atheist?
Well, he's fat and super out of shape and obese. And his whole Twitter now is about how women can have and men can get pregnant.
Well, I thought he believed in his eyes.
Well, I know. Scientific empirical evidence. That was the big cry of the atheists years and years ago. And I think anyone who was smart and an atheist years ago has now come to God. And everyone else is still in the cult of Satan. It is a cult of Satan because every single atheist is a short blue hair, loony, screaming, men can get pregnant, let's have 50 abortions, abortion is healthcare and doesn't hurt anyone, psychopath. So clearly, it was in fact a cult of Satan all along. I want to issue an apology. To a man named Jonathan. Do you remember Jonathan?
I do.
Jonathan. He was about 6'5", lived in Dunstable, the United Kingdom. He was a Jehovah's Witness, and he used to knock on my door, and I used to invite him in for coffee, because we used to have some interesting discussions. And I remember telling him, nah, this whole God thing, not for me, bro. I'm really smart. I'm an atheist. Welcome to my flat where I can't pay the electricity bill. Young Tristan, the idiot. And Jonathan used to tell me atheism was a cult of Satan. And I laughed at Jonathan. Jonathan, if you're listening, Jonathan from Dunstable, the Jehovah's Witness, who was knocking on the apartments in Watling Gardens, trying to convert people and bring them to the truth of Jesus Christ. We may have obviously differences in our Christian denominations, but you're trying to bring me to the truth of Christ, and I did not listen then. I officially apologize to you, Jonathan. Atheism is a cult of Satan.
We have to go back. How are you an amazing atheist?
No, have you seen him?
No, but I haven't even seen him. But I'm just going to apply logic to this. To be amazing, it's very hard to be amazing for just not believing in something. How are you amazing when God doesn't love you? I'm an amazing. I denounce God. You make an enemy of the most powerful force, which is completely you couldn't even fathom it with your human mind. It can't even be understood. You make an enemy of that force, and you think that makes you amazing? If I put my hands around your little neck, oh, sorry.
He looks
your
exactly
fat neck.
He looks exactly like you.
Squeezing the life out of you. And you'd end up praying to God. And he'd say, no, you don't believe in me. Sorry, G. I'm the only one who could stop Top G from ending you right now.
He looks exactly
like you've been running your mouth.
That's what he looks like. Exactly like you think.
You know the worst thing about atheists? Put him on the submarine. What was it? Deep sea stupid thing. Down Titanic. Yeah. Guarantee he'd pray when the lights go out.
Yeah, and
he'd be praying. Yeah. When the lights go out, he'd be like, I'm sorry, God, if you just let me off. Everyone at home knows one of these situations where you're like, God, if you just let me out of this one thing, I promise, if you just let me out of jail, I'll shut up on emergency meetings.
Yeah. Your wife caught you cheating. You're praying.
Just let me out of this one, God. He would be saying to God, please, I won't be an atheist anymore. Make the submarine work.
Yeah.
So there's no such thing as an atheist when things get real.
And he's obsessed with the idea of female.
I challenge him to combat.
Okay.
Let's settle it old fashioned.
Fair enough.
Me and him, bare knuckle, no rules. And we're going to work out if God is real or not.
Good idea.
Because if God's not real, I don't have any advantage over him, right? I believe in the power of God will ensure that I destroy him absolutely and completely. But he's an amazing atheist. Ooh, amazing.
See, but we're focusing on
the monkeys.
We're focusing on this one guy, Andrew. I'm telling you, all atheists have given into this cult of Satan. All of them. Besides Richard Dawkins, one, grumpy old Englishman, at least he stuck to his guns. I'll give him that credit. At least he stuck to his guns. But besides him, there's now one atheist left in the world. I've met one person. I know of one man who's actually an atheist. One. And no one else is. Because every single other person, from your mate Neil deGrasse Tyson.
The world needs God. If you don't wake up now as an intelligent person looking around you saying, the world needs God sooner than ever, we need him urgently, then there's something wrong with your brain, because only God can fix the mess we are currently in. Mm-hmm. Where truth is no longer truth, where lies are purported and pushed to the point and issues are conflated at such a level that you can't even discern the argument you're having about anything anymore. Mm-hmm. You need God. God is the only thing that can preserve your human experience. Someone on Twitter, I can't remember who, said something. X. Sorry, Elon. Someone said something very interesting. And it was talking about a debate between Christianity and Islam, which I do not want to do because I believe we're all brothers and I believe we're all on the right side. But he said something super interesting. And I can't remember who it was, but he said, when you see a movie about a post-apocalyptic Christian society, America, England, whatever, law breaks down. It is like the purge. People are destroying each other without remorse or recourse. But when you see a post-apocalyptic Islamic society, which exists right now thanks to the West.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks to us fixing 9/11, I guess, somehow.
Mm-hmm. Bringing freedom, spreading democracy.
Spreading democracy, but by destroying farmers in some country 4,000 miles away. When you see a post-apocalyptic Islamic society, they still have family. They still pray.
Yeah.
They still care about each other. There's no purge. I'm not saying that's perfect, but it's certainly a very interesting and astute observation that if Christianity cannot preserve morality without the threat of law, then what is Christianity at all? I mean, we're not going to debate about this. I'm just trying to make an overall view. But my point is, the worse things get, the more we need God.
Yeah.
And if you're going to sit and say you're an amazing atheist and you believe that atheism is somehow going to be the solution to the world, then you are worse than dumb. You are genuinely evil.
Yeah, he's one of the priests in the cult of Satan. By the way, I think all these mosquitoes today were officially sent by Bill Gates and they're genetically engineered. That's what I think. That's my theory.
Is that true?
I've got a study.
You got a study?
Yeah, I've consulted an expert.
All right, let me drink my 18th coffee and let me smoke loads of cigar and I'm going to activate my highly advanced Aikido maneuvers. And if a mosquito comes anywhere near me on camera, I'm going to snatch it from the sky and snap its neck.
Good idea.
Do mosquitoes believe in God or are they atheists?
There's no mosquito god.
There's no mosquito god. Atheists, I bet they are. So let me prepare for war.
Okay, so yeah, Andrew and Tristan Tate, some of you will obviously know about these already, and I'm not going to poison the well by talking about their biographies. I'll probably make some comments on that at the end. I'm going to take this as a serious video where two theists are talking about their view on atheists, and it may well be that this is a complete send-up, and I mean the joke's on me because I don't get it, but I'm taking it as if these are two people really expressing their views on atheism. So if the joke's on me, then so be it, but it might be useful in any case to go through some of what they're saying. Yeah, so they started off talking about this cult of Satan, that atheism is a cult of Satan. Listening to them all the way through, I wondered whether they really stopped to think about what atheism actually is, which we all know what it is. It's basically rejection of theist claims. And I wondered what he meant by cult of Satan, and by a certain point in the video, I understood what he was saying by that. So yeah, Andrew Tate kept saying, when I was an atheist, I thought I knew everything. I thought I was a genius. Of course, I couldn't pay my bills, and my life wasn't going anywhere. Well, the fact that his life wasn't going anywhere and he couldn't pay his bills is completely divorced from the issue of whether or not he believed in the existence of God. You can find plenty of beggars who are Christians, and you can find plenty of beggars who are atheists, and obviously wealthy people who are Christians and wealthy people who are atheists. So the level of success that you've got in life is not really related to whether you're right, correct in either believing or disbelieving in any God. So he kept bringing that back as if a kind of ironic satire on himself, that, I thought I was so smart. I said there was no God, and I couldn't even pay my bills, and it's irrelevant. It's not any kind of argument for the existence of God that his life was not on track. Okay. So about this cult of Satan, let me just see. Yeah. So about the cult of Satan, he made this statement, and I'll read it out because I wrote it down. That atheism is a cult of Satan is proven by the fact atheists are prepared to accept an anti-scientific worldview if it furthers the work of Satan himself. Now, I came to understand that what he probably meant by that was that he seems to have this idea that all atheists are necessarily in favor of LGBTQ plus issues and are sympathetic to gay issues, trans issues, etc. Now, as we know, this is not the case. You've only got to go and listen to Pine Creek to understand that that really is not the case. He later mentions Richard Dawkins as the only atheist who has stuck to his guns, and no, that's not true. I've even done polls on my own account, and I've found that it's about 50-50. So atheists are so diverse in terms of their opinions. He is absolutely wrong about that, but it gives me an insight into what he means, into his attitude to trans issues, LGBTQ, gay issues, etc. And he effectively is describing that as a cult of Satan. What he means when he says anti-scientific worldview is he's asserting that there's no science. I think he's asserting that there's no science to support, the idea that somebody who was born a male could transition to becoming a female. And certainly Richard Dawkins is kind of saying that as well, but it's not really his expertise, and it's such a controversial issue, and I really lack the knowledge to speak about it. But I mean, just to say personally, I don't have any issues with trans, I mean, all that kind of thing. It's not an issue for me. So he's saying, cult of Satan, that is like evil, like evil on earth. And this somehow characterizes atheism per se, that this is the character of atheism, that atheists have now adopted this worldview, which he terms anti-scientific. But he also mischaracterizes the worldview of atheists as being, if you can't see it, if you can't touch it, you don't believe in it. No, that is not the point. For certain claims, there has to be a sufficient level of evidence in order to accept that that claim is true. So if we're talking about claims about the natural world, claims that fall in within the realm of science, then there has to be a sufficient level of evidence in order to accept that claim. We know that radio waves exist. We can't touch them, we can't see them, but we can detect them, and scientifically we know that they exist. So, you know, I can debunk him straight away on that. So it's the evidence that we're looking for, not whether we can touch it and see it. Yeah. So obviously, with the claim a God exists, that hasn't met its burden of proof. So consequently, we atheists, me, etc., we don't believe in the existence of God, simply because it hasn't met its burden of proof. So that's not to say that we don't believe in things. We do believe in things, and we probably believe in most of the things that theists believe in. We just don't believe in God, and we tend not to believe in supernatural things because they haven't met their burden of proof with the evidence. It's not that we can't see them and we can't touch them. It's that the level of there's not sufficient evidence of any kind, whether you can touch it, see it, or detect it. There's not enough evidence of any kind in order to believe that those claims are true. So, and then they start attacking the amazing atheist and calling him fat, etc. And you know, he's so clever, isn't he? He's so smart. What's so amazing about him? He's fat and he's saying dumb things like men can get pregnant. And I haven't. I don't really. I used to watch The Amazing Atheist. I don't anymore. I haven't. But I don't believe he's making the claim that men can get pregnant. I don't believe he's making that claim. I think they're straw manning him there. Correct me if I'm wrong. If any of you guys follow The Amazing Atheist, I'd be very surprised if he's making that claim. But I think probably what they're getting at is that he's sympathetic to LGBTQ issues, and they don't like that. They believe that that's evil. They believe it's a cult of Satan. So consequently, they don't like him. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm not even going to repeat what he said there. Yeah, he mentioned. So he said that he used to be an atheist, and when he was an atheist, when he was living in England, there was this Jonathan, this Jehovah's Witness, and he wants to apologize to him because it was Jonathan that first said that atheism is a cult of Satan. And of course, we don't know why Jonathan said that. We don't know what Jonathan's view is on LGBT and whether he thinks that atheism is a cult of Satan because of LGBTQ. The perceived support that atheists give, like almost unanimous support to those issues. So we don't know what Jonathan's view is, but given that I understand that Andrew Tate has converted to Islam, I can't imagine that they would have too much to agree on, really. He did make this statement at the end that they're all on the same side. Islam and Christianity are all on the same side. And no, if you think that, you're wrong. Christianity and Islam are completely incompatible. They're completely incompatible. If you're a Muslim, you believe that Jesus was simply a prophet. And if you're a Christian, you believe that Jesus was divine, which is blasphemy to a Muslim. And the idea that Jesus was divine, the claim that Jesus was just a prophet in the Middle Ages would have got you burned at the stake. So no, enough of this nonsense. Christianity and Islam are completely incompatible. Now, the only thing they really share in common, I suppose, is they both claim that Muslims claim same tradition, but they haven't really got that much in common, really. Monotheistic, I suppose, but then again, Christianity's got the Trinity, which, it's monotheism divided into three. And then there was this point that in post-apocalyptic films, in Christian countries, law and order completely breaks down, and that If Christianity needs law and order to enforce morality, then Christianity is no good. Christianity has always needed law and order to enforce morality. I mean, in terms of the basics, stealing, etc., killing, rape, etc. Christianity, keeping law and order. Christianity has always needed law and order. Every society has always needed a penal code, regardless of the religion. And Muslims also need a penal code. They've got it. It's called Sharia law. They also need a penal code. So it's a complete straw man and completely false to claim anything otherwise. And we have not seen post-apocalyptic Islam in films. You can't call what happened in Afghanistan or Iraq post-apocalyptic, because any power vacuum was very quickly and very successfully filled by Islamic militants and armies very, very quickly. And they also enforced law and order straight away. God doesn't do it. God, the belief that there's a God, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but demonstrably, has never been enough to keep law and order. It's always required a strong rule of law, method of enforcement, and a penal code. So, complete and utter nonsense. You need God to, exist as a fulfilled human being. Well, that's a claim which, I would contest. It hasn't really been demonstrated. We've seen examples of Christians who've pulled their lives around once they start believing in God and becoming fulfilled. We've also seen ex-Christians and ex-Muslims go to atheism and become more fulfilled human beings. So they cancel each other out. Neither way. One way or the other. It's that's not demonstrably true. That's about it, really. And then the claim that atheists think that atheism is a solution to the world. No, the world problems. No, I don't. We've got a heck of a problem with global warming, and in no way do I think that atheism, denying the existence of God, there's no way that I think that is a solution to the world's problems. Okay, so just a couple of more points. Yeah, this thing about no atheists in foxholes. He said if the Titanic's going down, there'll be no atheists on board the Titanic. When the lights go out and it's going down, everybody will be praying. Well, we know that this thing about no atheists and foxholes is untrue, but obviously, in addition to that, on the Titanic, those who are praying to God and they're on their knees are obviously going to drown, and it will be the atheists who are not praying but actually trying to get into the lifeboats who will save themselves. So yeah, we know that that's not true. He said about the amazing atheist, he came back to him a couple of times. And he said that what's so amazing about you if God doesn't love you? This is funny because it's one of the rare occasions when you will get a theist saying, usually if I say to a Christian, oh, I don't believe in God, oh, that's a shame, Stuart, because, Jesus loves you. He really loves you. And so to hear, you don't believe in God, well, God doesn't love you anyway. Yeah, so let's just close this out. So Andrew and Tristan Tate, controversial figures. They're currently in Romania, and I believe they've been charged with human trafficking. They've been under house arrest. They're going to stand trial, and I don't know how that's going to resolve itself, but it seems that they've been quite misogynistic, transphobic, homophobic, etc. And to be honest with you, they did convert from Christianity to Islam, and it strikes me that if for them Satanism or the cult of Satan would be the most evil thing, is pro-trans issues and pro-LGBTQ, gay issues, etc., that if that's the big thing for them, then obviously going from Christianity to Islam makes a lot of sense, because whereas we see a lot of progressive Christianity now, progressive Catholicism, whatever, there's not really that much progressive Islam that I'm aware of, at least. and it would make more sense then to go to Islam, maybe because it's a more hardline religion against trans issues, etc., LGBTQ, and it's trying to preserve, you know, dare I say it, sort of traditional theistic values, and it's trying to keep religion firmly rooted in the past. You know, and obviously we're all aware that homosexuality at one time was illegal, and it is, I understand, still in Islamic states a big issue. So it would make sense for them to go to a more hardline religion, a really anti-woke religion, and obviously they found Islam. Maybe that's why they converted to Islam, I don't know, but it seems possible. Yeah, so let me know what your thoughts are on that. I think that was a serious video by them, really expressing what they think, having read some more about it, and I've offered you my opinion on their comments. I'd like to know what you think. Bye for now.